My name is Holly Whitaker, and I am the author of Quit Like a Woman, The Radical Choice to Not Drink in a Culture Obsessed with Alcohol. This is my first time at Notre Dame, and I still don't know where we are on a map. This is the school that Rudy was based on.
You guys can go out there.
Where is that?
Yeah, I don't really go out of my way to attend football games or watch it on TV.
So I mean, what?
Why are my oh my God, this is so embarrassing.
This is your Rudy moment.
It's my Rudy moment.
Touchdown Jesus.
Oh. I bet that's what Jesus always wanted to be.
Joining us now is Holly Whitaker. She is the author of the book Chrissy Teigen says inspired her to stop drinking.
Holly Whitaker joins us now live from New York.
The book that Holly has just blown everybody away with.
I got a letter from Ted Mendel, and he was essentially telling me that my book was the basis of a class that he had put together to show students how they're influenced to drink the way they do. Why do they have the lights on right now, you think?
Oh, just for you, actually.
I don't even know how many letters and requests to give talks or to go on podcasts.
Holly Whitaker is gonna be here. Light the stadium.
When I heard about this, it was so extraordinary. I agreed to it, and I didn't need to know the details.
Hi everyone, my name is Ted Mandel. I'm from the Department of Film, Television, and Theater. I wanted to welcome you to tonight's conversation with Holly Whitaker. Also joining me on the stage here from the Department of Psychology, Andre Venter. Andre and I teach a course called Drunk on Film. You tell your story as well as the story of alcohol in some ways.
Yeah.
And that has become a big part of our course. The idea that storytelling has a lot to do with the culture here on campus.
I think storytelling has a lot to do with who we are and the lives we lead.
Yeah, we've almost like taken, that beer with your dad or at the tailgate or your first date and having like that nice glass of wine, like all this meaning that we build into this substance, and we believe that the substance is what makes those moments. What makes things special is actually the connection that you have with the humans that you're drinking it with.
The unfortunate reality is that alcohol is tied to connection in college. And making friends is heavily intertwined with going out and going to parties.
There she is.
Thank you for having us. And it's usually parents that have a tailgate?
Usually, yeah.
Why? Because it costs money?
Just a little bit.
Why do you do it though? Like, what is it? What do you come here to do?
When you're a parent here, it gives you a chance to spend time with your kids.
And then from your perspective as parents, is drinking a big part of it? Yeah. Like a given?
We got White Claws, a beer.
Like this is tame, right?
Yeah,
Like,
this is a very tame tale.
and has being part of Ted's class like changed the way that this all looks to you?
Oh
Or-
yeah, I feel like most of the time recently, the less I drink, the more fun I'm having.
Yeah.
And I just remember everything.
Yeah.
I experience it better.
Yeah?
Way more enjoyable.
I don't really understand why it's so important for parents to bring alcohol or whatever, but that's kind of like what the point is. What I'm noticing about it is that it's like a community. It's like an event where people are sharing food and sharing drinks and sharing space. I mean, that seems like heaven, especially after COVID, right?
I'm gonna get you some cider.
Oh, nobody ever makes special drinks for sober people. That's so nice of you. It
We're
is.
not here to drink alcohol. We're here to
Commune.
Go Irish. we are here to support our university and our team. So
Yes,
so
yes.
that's what it's really all about. What happens on the field is between really 22 individuals.
Yeah.
But what happens outside the field is up to us.
Yeah, that's what I primarily feel here over the alcohol, is like the kindness and the camaraderie.
I'm trying to talk people into not drinking.
Are you? But are you drinking?
I do tailgate.
You gotta, absolutely. Yeah, there you go.
Go Irish.
What, hey, season ticket holder? Or you just come at once?
No, I like to party.
Yeah.
I love the Irish. I like to party.
You go to the games?
Yeah, sometimes.
Or sometimes you just come here just to tailgate, though?
Specifically just to tailgate.
All right.
And no matter what's going on in your life, people all just drop it for about 8 hours.
Yeah.
And just enjoy being in Notre Dame.
And you think they can do that without drinking? You think that would still exist without the alcohol?
Oh yeah, for sure for some people, but I mean, it's way funner without alcohol.
Even though alcohol fits every single criteria of a drug, it's a drug that we have essentially said is not a drug. It's alcohol. And you have a parking lot full of motor vehicles that are opening their trunks and, you know, buckets and buckets and buckets. That's the horrific part, the fact that we were walking through a drug market today where it was all free.
Okay, time for push-ups.
Oh man, these people are a little drunk, so I'm worried about this girl.
We've been talking about Notre Dame.
Yeah.
It's not a Notre Dame problem.
It's not a Notre Dame problem. It's an American problem. It's a university problem.
I think, which brings me back to the course, which is like, I'm kind of proud of the fact that at least here, we're questioning it. One of the things that has been really enlightening is to deconstruct that story of alcohol. Like you mentioned, like why is there a tradition of alcohol? It's not a course that's like, don't drink.
Yeah.
It's a course that's like, why are you binge drinking? Why are you blacking out? Why do you think that that's necessary?
Yeah.
But actually, that's what higher education is about. It's about examining the issues and questioning those things. And a lot of the answers are because everybody else is doing this.
I think that you are trained to become a participant in drinking culture. We're trained to drink like this. We're given images, and those images are reinforced our entire lives. That when you go to college, you let loose, you get drunk. How many of you didn't drink in high school? Shit.
I feel like to get into a school like Notre Dame, you really can't. You like we were all like hardos in high school. Like that's just kind of what it takes to get here. So I think like
neurotically.
Yeah, neurotic in your studies.
Some people feel like they have to make up for it. Some people feel like, oh, maybe I didn't have fun in high school or I didn't party in high school, so I have to party now.
And your window's closing. The root of the drinking is kind of like everyone else drinks.
You're creating a culture of followers. You're creating a culture of folks that need to fit in, that are afraid of doing something that might draw attention or make them seem weird or make life hard. So we have no rite of passage in our society other than, you know, turning 16, turning 21, getting married, and having a kid. Like one of the 5 top celebration markers is being able to drink, right? It's that important. Like you're going to have to figure out how do you, in a setting like this, make so pointless and stupid, like all of like what the behavior is expected.
Yeah.
That students choose to not engage in it.
Yeah, yeah. We do have some groups that are like, let's do something on Friday, but I think that they've started to gain, like, again, this image, and I know them. They're not lame. You know what I mean?
No,
and that's the problem. And so I don't know where that perception comes from that, oh, if you go with these guys or this club, then that's lame.
Like, I think people don't go to Recovering College because I think like one of the things I heard in that class is that college students generally believe you become an alcoholic after college.
Yes. So we don't have recovery programming here. Our data is at 1%, although I think we know there's more. And so we've talked about like more of what we can do is support sober students overall.
Do I worry that there's not enough resources for students? Yeah, absolutely. There's not enough resources. I think out of 500 clubs, there's only one sober-centric club or non-drinking focused club. I don't think there's any sober living on campus. So yeah, there's nothing, right? There's this class, which is profoundly impactful.
Hi, so I have a drinking problem. I drink probably 6, sometimes 7 nights a week. I think part of the reason I do it is because it helps me make the trauma and emotions in my life a little bit more manageable. I'm aware it's a problem. My friends have told me that they think it's a problem, and I just don't know what to do about it. because I go to therapy, I take antidepressants, I do all these things I'm told to do, like healthy coping mechanisms. I try all these things, and like sometimes I feel like the only thing that can really distract me is the alcohol, and I just don't know what to do about it. And like, what advice do you have?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for saying that. It's extremely brave. You clearly want to shift something, correct? Like, right. That's kind of all you need. We just keep on standing up every time we fall down.
I think the hardest part of it was just hearing one story of one brave person that spoke up and said they needed help. I think that anytime you encounter somebody that wants help and needs help and is desperate for help, just encountering that here, especially with how many resources and how many people, like, it's a very well-resourced school. And the people here obviously care. And I think that hearing somebody that's kind of out on his own in a certain sense, like, that just, broke me a bit.
What I feel like Notre Dame really does well is when our students get into a situation, we have the facilities and we have the opportunity to intervene. I'd really love for us to figure out how we can bolster our prevention. Like, how do we not get there in the first place, right?
Yeah.
And how do you have that conversation? Particularly when you're fighting a culture that says, that glorifies it and, plays to the, like, this is what you should do in college.
We're herded into something without questioning, and we don't understand we have other alternatives.
Right.
And there's the ability to do what you do best, which is provide education. The best thing about knowledge and its power is that it's transformative. You have to use it and experience it for it to actually stick, but knowledge is transformational. I got sober reading a book. You have to be brave enough to go first. You have to be brave enough to call bullshit on something that might not make you entirely popular with various groups, but will save a lot of lives. 1 in 10 of adult Americans between the ages of 18 and 62 will die an alcohol-related death. And that number is going up.
Was there anything you learned about yourself and the movement that you've started this weekend?
It's got a long way to go.